This movie just sucks. This movie just sucks. This movie just sucks. This movie just sucks. I don't know why I was singing the Nostalgia Critic theme song. Hello everybody, this is GNS Legend here, and I'm here with the Secrets of the Mimic trailer, coming out June 13th, 2025. I was gonna say I'm surprised, but also it's like, when was that announced? It was announced the week of the Five Nights at Freddy's 10th anniversary. So, it's almost been, like a 10-month gap from when it comes out to when it was announced, which is a normal thing for games. I remember yesterday a lot of people being like, because when it comes to games made by a Steel Wool Studio, a lot of the Five Nights at Freddy's games are first announced. They're first announced at the, what is it called, the PlayStation State of Play, which is basically their Nintendo Direct. So I know a lot of people are like, oh my goodness, is Steel Wool gonna be there? I'll never forget 2022 and 2023 was so aggravating as a Five Nights at Freddy's fan, because I just remember being like, when is Ruin gonna come out? When is Ruin gonna come out? When is Ruin gonna come out? And now Ruin has finally come out. So, obviously it's, I just remember, I don't know, that year was really aggravating. That year and a half was really aggravating as a Five Nights at Freddy's fan. But now we have all this content. We have games not only made by Steel Wool, but other studios like Mega Cat Studios. I still need to play Into the Pit. But yeah. So anyways, I don't want to be talking for an extremely long time like I have been in my reaction videos lately. So let's just get into the trailer. Secrets of the Mimic. Let's go. No filler. Steel Wool. Oh, shoot. Oh!
So let me explain the situation.
Fazbear Entertainment.
Edwin Murray has gone missing, leaving our property abandoned in his warehouse.
I heard that none of the OG characters are in this
Your
game.
job is simple. Enter the warehouse and retrieve the technology.
This feels like a fan game. This is not real.
It's a kind of prototype endoskeleton that can adapt to any costume and become any character.
The Mimic.
We suspect it may be malfunctioning, so just be aware of the slim.
Hey, Tiger Rock. He's from the book.
Significant injuries while attempting to retrieve it.
Is this gonna be VR and just normal play? Those are the costumes from Ruin.
Retrieval process to go smoothly and without incident. But just in case,
Oh, Mushroom Guy.
get your repairs in order before arriving.
Oh, I'm liking this. This feels so unreal. One complaint that I feel like a lot of Five Nights at Freddy's have been getting recently that's not scary enough. This feels good. I feel like this would be really scary. Was that music, man?
Entertainment is not responsible for
Five Nights at Freddy's, Secret of the Mimic.
Thank you for being a valued member of the Fazbear team.
June 13th, 2025. Oh, that was it. That was really short. I was honestly expecting more. Man, I wish that trailer was longer. That trailer is pretty... Okay, so... I watch a lot of Five Nights at Freddy's theories and stuff, and for the longest time, what has always been on people's minds is how did Fazbear Entertainment begin? How did Five Nights at Freddy's begin? And, we always say Fredbear's Family Diner, canonically. In the books and in other media surrounding Five Nights at Freddy's, they always say, oh, I think it was the first book, The Silver Eyes, where they're like, oh yeah, there's this place called Fredbear's Family Diner, ran by these two dads, Henry, Emily, we suspect his last name is Emily, and William Afton, a bunny, a golden bunny, and a golden bear. And the purple dude starts murdering, animatronics get possessed, so on and so forth. You get clowns, you get wizards, you get endos, phantoms, nightmares, you get a bunch of stuff. And a lot of people think, oh yeah, that's just how it begins. And I know, even Steel Wool, back when Security Breach was coming out, they've said that they wanted to do a game that was the origins of Fazbear Entertainment. And, when this game was announced back in, what was it, August, some people were like, we're finally getting that game. And, Secrets of the Mimic seems to be that game. Hold on, let me just analyze this trailer.
It's a clown attack! The circus is coming to town! So sit your down and get ready for a clown attack!
The opening really shocked me with just the car. I was like, oh my goodness, we're seeing humans in this game. But, Security Breach, we also saw humans, so I guess that's not surprising. Hold on. So the trailer begins with a van that just says Fazbear Entertainment. And I assume this game is going to take place in 1979 because in the trailer, when it's showing like the raw footage, it says 1979 on there. So presumably, even the way that car looks and that street has, to me at least, like a late 70s feel. Like this, it does not feel modern whatsoever. Even the font looks a little funny. What is that voice saying in the beginning? Hold on, I want to pay close attention.
One of our contractors, Edwin Murray, has gone missing, leaving our property abandoned in his warehouse. Your job is simple. Enter the warehouse.
Edwin Murray.
Technology that he was developing for us. It's a kind of prototype endoskeleton that can adapt to any costume and become any character.
Man, that dog.
It may be malfunctioning, so just be aware of the slam button on zero chance that you could sustain significant injury.
You want to know something? That voice is hand unit. But like this is late 70s, so like I would assume, well, you know, even in in the Five Nights at Freddy's universe, technology is always faster in their universe than it is in our own. But like that voice sounds a lot like hand unit, but obviously this is gonna be the late 70s. I doubt you're gonna have like a robotic voice telling you what to do. So what he said there was Edwin Murray went missing. Now, if you haven't read the books, Edwin, at the end of the Tales from the Pizzaplex books, at the end of each book, there's like these black pages that like say a specific story, and then it's a story that connects all the other stories. They did the same thing with the Stitch Wraith and the Fazbear Fights books. I believe the story of the Mimic goes that there's this guy named Edwin, and he creates the Mimic, this animatronic that copies and mimics. I think he makes it for his son because one day he's working on animatronics and stuff, and this might be, I don't know if Freddy, Bonnie, or Chica exist at this point in the timeline. So obviously at this point, this would be like the first thing to take place in Five Nights at Freddy's. You could make a bunch of Marvel comparisons, so forgive me. The hand unit talking, it reminds me a lot like of Jarvis from Marvel, where in the main games you have this computer hand unit talking, making plans, explaining things to you, your tutorial character, the replacement for Phone Guy, RIP. And then like in a later thing, I think it's either the show Agent Carter or the Avengers Endgame, it's revealed that Jarvis is named after like a butler of the same name. Like he once was a real person, and then they made like an AI off of him eventually, or something like that. And I feel like it's the same thing that's going on here. Like hand unit was a real because he doesn't sound robotic whatsoever in this trailer. He sounds like a normal guy. So it makes me think, is hand unit either based off of an employee of Fazbear Entertainment, or I don't know, did he die and his soul went into hand unit? Like what happened? Like that's what I'm thinking right now, because that sounds like hand unit's voice, but it doesn't sound as robotic. You see a bunch of like creepy dogs, like a bunch of mascots you would see in the 70s. A sheep. I bet that hits close to home for Steel Wool. Man, this when I saw this shot of the trailer, it looks fan made. Like it doesn't look real. I watched a little bit of FNAF's John FNAF. If you haven't seen his videos, he's great. I saw a little bit. He played the demo for this game. It's interesting because he played the demos in VR, and I'm assuming this game is going to be normal play. Like you can play it normally. I don't think this trailer said anything about VR on it. I'm looking at the description. No, it doesn't say anything about VR. Definitely expect me to do a let's play of this because I'm excited. What does that say in the top? Don't be late. Something something. Life discoveries something something. Here we have another FNAF office. We have a mushroom guy in the corner there, which I remember John FNAF talking about in his video. Also, we have the infamous fan over there in the corner. What else is there in this trailer? We have a weird looking dog, an elephant. The elephant looks different from the way it looks in Ruin. So I remember when Ruin came out. Because one thing I remember about Ruin, I don't hate Security Breach, but one thing that really bothers me about Security Breach is the story. And I obviously know there's so many Five Nights at Freddy's games where it's like you play it for the first time, the story does not make sense whatsoever. And I'm glad that now we're having these games and stuff that are explaining a bit more backstory that we never had before, such as this game. Security Breach, one thing that always bothered me is just like did not understand the story. Like, you know, even Five Nights at Freddy's 4, as confusing as that game is, I still had an idea of the story. Or Security Breach, I'm like, no, not really. And that's one thing I appreciate about Ruin. You know, it's showing so much of the story, especially, you know, the origins of Fazbear. And this elephant here, it has a resemblance to elephant in the basement that the mimic's stuck under. So that's interesting to me. You know, Ruin, we have the mimic, and it's like, okay, this is what the mimic is, you know. And now we have this game explaining to us what the mimic is. And so I could only assume the game after this, which I remember in Scott's interview, he did confirm that Seal Will is also working on another game that's not announced yet. Whether that game be Help Wanted 3 or, you know, the game that takes place after Ruin, you know, maybe Cassie, Gregory have to team up to defeat the mimic and put him back in his place. Who knows? I'm excited though. You have a dog here. I think it's some kind of looks like a bulldog. So you have this tiger here. I believe his name's Tiger Rock from the books. I don't think I own that book, but apparently Tiger Rock is an animatronic in the Pizzaplex that I guess is controlled by 2 different AIs. I think that's the story, at least. I haven't played the Help Wanted 2 DLC, but I remember a lot of people freaking out when basically the DLC for Help Wanted 2 said because before people thought, oh, he only exists within the books universe. But recently they confirmed he also exists in the games universe. And it seems to be his place of origin is Edwin's warehouse. Also, another thing I remember is John FNAF said he did not see Freddy, Foxy, Chica, or Bonnie, any of the OG characters. This game is nothing but original characters, which is interesting to me. It seems to be a lot like Security Breach in the way it plays, where, you know, you're walking around, you know, looking for stuff, which is interesting to me. And obviously Jackie, which a lot of people suspect to be the mimic. One thing I did notice is that the books call out that when the mimic was created, he had no legs. He was just a body, arms, and a head. And that seems to be what Jackie is, just the head, body, and arms. Really, really long arms. So that seems to be what Jackie is, because I noticed in one of what was it? In one of the things that they made like a real life statue of Jackie to promote the game. Jackie had no legs. And I remember Matt Pat brought that up in one of his videos, that they specified that the mimic, when he was initially created, did not have legs, and he was not given legs till after the fact. So I wonder, and I think most people have, I know there's some people that are like, oh, they're probably lying to us. Jackie isn't the mimic. And it does seem the mimic is putting on multiple costumes here, or maybe there's multiple mimics, who knows. It seems to be, because you see all these little costume characters. Maybe this is a Five Nights at Freddy's 3 situation. You know, it's you against one specific animatronic, and this animatronic is dressing up as other little animals and stuff. I love that shot of the elephant. That's amazing. The mushroom guy again, which I like that guy's design. That's interesting, because that's not what the mimic's eyes look like. The mimic's eyes, I don't think. The mimic just has like completely white eyes, unless in this game they say, I don't know, his eyes got shot or something, so they had to be replaced. So I wonder, also we have this robot here. Oh, I remember John FNAF also talking about how there's what are they called? The little robots in a Security Breach. There was one robot that looked like that, except he looked like a shredder. And that's what I guess this guy is. He's supposed to be, what are they called? The staff bots. I guess he's supposed to be an early prototype version of the staff bots. But he's also a shredder, because the bottom half of him kind of looks like a shredder. Also, there's a present next to him, which makes me think this game is going to act a lot like Security Breach, in the sense you're wandering around and you're opening up presents to get certain items. That's what that makes me think. That's interesting. That's really. Also, I like, you can see the gears inside of them. The doors look like the doors from FNAF 1, which I really like. I just like that Fazbear Entertainment, like, just all their doors just look like that, whether it be, you know, just for stylistic choices, or just because it's very common for robots to be coming after you to kill you. So I wonder, we're not playing as Edwin, because the guy in the beginning, the proto hand unit, says we came over here to look for Edwin. He disappeared in his warehouse, I guess. This could be a warehouse. I think they say in the books that he worked in a warehouse, and he had a bunch of like animal costumes surrounding him. And the book specified that four of the costumes were a bear, chicken, bunny, and bird. You don't see that here. Maybe that's how this game's gonna end. It's gonna end with like an Avengers style end credits, where it's like a guy being like, "Oh, I need ideas for new mascots," and then someone says, "How about a bear?" And then dun dun dun. and then I don't know, he colors Fredbear or something like that. You know, that could be like an end credit scene for this game. You know, maybe that'd be interesting. I don't know who we're playing as. We could be playing as William Afton. Who knows? That would be actually a great plot twist if we're just like either William Afton or Henry, because this is like early in the timeline. So you know, all the characters are still alive. So. And there's only 2 characters that are in the beginning of this timeline, Henry and William Afton. So we could be playing as Henry because, you know, for those of you who don't know, Henry is the creator of the original animatronics, father of Charlie, who is the main character in one of the books. He's a mechanic, and some people compared Edwin to Henry, and so it makes sense, like if Edwin, you know, like if Henry was his like apprentice or something like that. Like I can see that being like a thing where it's like we know nothing about Henry in the games besides, you know, obviously the voice you hear in Pizzeria Simulator. It's, you know, that's supposed to be Henry. And that's the only time we've heard his voice. The only thing we really know about him is that he, you know, made this big plan to burn all the animatronics down. So it'd be great if we have this game, you know, like, that's my personal headcanon until proven otherwise. But, you know, that this could be Henry, you know, working for Edwin, and, you know, maybe he's his apprentice, and then it's like, oh, Edwin went missing in his warehouse, so I would have to go find him, you know, and has this creepy little animatronic running around, changing costumes, likes to role play. There's no references to Freddy, except this one. So obviously the company is called is still called Fazbear Entertainment. So it's like, okay, so does Freddy exist? You know, like does a bear mascot exist? You don't see any bear mascots unless, I don't know, it's named after a guy that is literally named Fazbear. But it's interesting to me here in the trailer. Oh, look at that background, out of order. I like that little jungle thing. Oh, there's a little crab guy holding a chest, a little creepy bee. That's interesting. So it's interesting here. Oh, Helper. That's interesting. Okay, so we all know the famous character Helpy. In Ruin, we have a different version of Helpy that's introduced to us called Helpy with an I. And now we have a third version of Helpy called Helper. Helper. That's interesting. Huh, I wonder, because a lot of people think that Helpy with an I in Ruin was this malicious AI that was tricking us, and a lot of people think it's probably William Afton or something. And here we have Helper. That's interesting, and a third iteration of Helpy. And the weird thing is, because Helpy's design is based off of Funtime Freddy, unless I guess in universe Funtime Freddy would have been inspired by Helpy, I guess. But it's interesting, does Helpy exist before Freddy Fazbear himself, or does Freddy Fazbear already kind of exist? That's what I'm wondering right now. Welcome show subterminal, please select an option below. Restart welcome show. Okay, that's interesting. You have this creepy little doll, this little wooden doll thing. Also, I think a lot of people speculated that Balloon Boy might have came from this place, because there's a lot of physical animatronics, but there's also a lot of wooden things like this. I mean, I guess this little, it's a small world looking animatronic. It looks like it's either made of metal or wood. I can't tell. But, you know, a lot of people also might think, you know, maybe Balloon Boy came from here. That looks like a caterpillar with a mustache on there. I don't know why he reminds me of a Don Bluth character. What else? Nothing much here besides... Is that a weasel? What the heck is that thing over there? Is that an alligator? Maybe we're watching Montgomery Gator came from. You have a pattern there that kind of looks like a Balloon Boy. So this is interesting. Is that Music Man? I would do the Matt Pat meme, but I don't have the energy. I'm recording this like at 11 or 12 at night. Hold on, let me get this. So Music Man's another character where people are like, what's the origins of this character? And I know like Steel Wool really loves Music Man because of the Matt Pat meme. Music Man, for those of you who don't know, Music Man is a character that came from Pizzeria Simulator. Some people think he's a Funtime animatronic because of the way he's colored. Then he came back in Security Breach out of nowhere with 2 iterations of him. I think he has a cameo in Into the Pit. And now we have a similar looking animatronic I don't think this is supposed to be the Mimic in another costume. This is a completely different entity. So could a Music Man come from where the Mimic came from? Because it looks a lot like Music Man. Hold on, let me get like a good shot here. Even his jump scare kind of resembles Music Man there. That's interesting. But one thing I like about the lore is that Scott would like, and Scott kind of said this in one of his interviews, where like he comes up with something really weird and random that has no meaning or purpose, like Music Man, and then as it goes on, he eventually gives that thing meaning and purpose, and that seems to be what's going on here. Music Man is getting a backstory, like, you know, where it's being confirmed where this weird animatronic came from, this weird spider with symbols and a top hat and creepy cheeks and dead black eyes came from, and that's what I like about that. Like, I think that's really cool, and that's pretty much it for the trailer. That's interesting. Also, another thing John FNAF said is that this game feels like found footage. Like, you know, like someone found a piece of footage. That's interesting to me because, you know, every time we see the transition of the title, it's always like footage, you know, being burned up or starting up. So that's interesting to me. That's interesting. And then, you know, June 13th. I'm trying to think, does anything happen on June 13th? I was gonna say, is there a specific reason for that date? I guess not. No? I guess not. Huh. But anyways, yeah, I'm excited for Secrets of the Mimic. That seems to be really interesting. I haven't played the DLC for Help Wanted 2. I know that the DLC touches on things, like, you know, foreshadows things about the Mimic. I haven't played it. Might play it one day. Who knows? But anyways, thank you all for watching this video. Leave a like, comment, and share. I'm sure I'm going to edit out a lot of this video because I'm talking for way too long. And thank you all for watching. And if you're watching in the future, tell me, what do you think of Secrets of the Mimic? And chances are I'm probably going to do a Let's Play. At first I was concerned, I'm like, oh, it's going to be VR, because I was like, I don't have a VR headset. I'm probably not going to play it. But I do have a PlayStation, so, you know, a PlayStation 5. So I still can play the game if it's just normally for a PlayStation 5, but who knows? But anyways, thank you all for watching, and leave a comment on what you think about the trailer, if seeing this in the future, what you think about the Mimic. I'm really excited for this game. See you all. Bye.